Hello everyone, I hope you guys are doing well and your studies were at least going in full swing till the time you got that notification from the ICAI yesterday night. And as you guys are aware, the CA final exams now happen 2 times a year, that is in May and November, as they have been happening for the last 75 odd years, instead of 3 times a year, which was just happening, let us say, over the last 1 or so years. Now, I'm not going to go into discussing on whether that was needed or not needed. I'm not again going to show that notification that is all over the place right now, but I'm going to discuss something which is a lot more important right now, which is unique to you, which is unique to your attempt, and 2 important decisions that you face right now. That is, first, what are the changes in my plans that are needed in terms of my lecture completion, in terms of my revision, etc. And I'm going to go attempt wise. So what is your respective attempt? You should focus on that. And secondly, well, how do I decide whether should I defer my attempt? For example, if I'm in January, go to May, or should I prepone it and go to November, for example. So over here, we are going to discuss this attempt wise. And in general, if I were to put a summary around this, largely students who are giving the May exams, well, nothing changes for you, so you can just go and troll ICI needlessly, because, well, for you nothing changes, but, well, you can do what you want right now, have some fun. For students who are giving the September exams, now whether that is September 26 or September 27, you now in a way get 2 more months almost certainly, where you will be giving the exams in November. So, well, students of September might take a little more time to get their prefix, but if you are having a little more time, there should not be a lot of reasons to complain. But the real issue or the decision point will be for the January students who are now going to get relatively lesser time and they have to do the majority of the adjustments. So nevertheless, let us go one by one and discuss what we need to do attempt wise. Okay, so let us say if you are going to September 2026, now September 26 initially was just, let us say, a few months away. Right now you had relatively lesser time and you were just on the verge of getting into your preparations into full swing. However, now you have 2 more months. Now the very normal pitfall over here is initial euphoria ke, oh, I still have some more months, and then subsequent laxity, in the sense that, okay, I have 2 more months. Remember, it is not you alone who has 2 more months, it is everyone around you who has 2 more months. And as a result, I would say that don't be complacent at all. Use these 2 months to your advantage. Don't let the momentum die out. As you have started preparing, you would have seen it took you a fair bit of time to build that momentum. Don't let it die down. At max, you go with your plans. You might get 1 more additional chance to revise. You can get more time to write the mock test. If, let us say, you were not earlier thinking, you can kind of aim for a much higher result as compared to what you were. So don't let the momentum die out. Don't say that, well, you know what, I have 2 months, let me just chill out for the next 1 week or so. Well, then you'll again have to sit and build that momentum. So I would say that try to capitalize on these 2 more months that you have. Get your revisions. If there were certain subjects that were relatively weaker, use this time to build upon those subjects, but don't let laxity creep in. Ensure that you keep on studying as if your exam was in September, so that you don't lose out on that momentum that you've built so hard. Okay, so September students, try to get 1 more revision as compared to what you planned. Try to ensure that if there were certain weak areas which were earlier overlooking, you kind of try to build upon that and try to write and squeeze in more mock tests as compared to what you were initially planning. So in a way, net I would say it's a relative win-win for you. Now students who are giving in January, now your timelines get a little compressed. Now, as I said, January students are the students who have to think the most in terms of changes in plan needed. Well, first of all, the question would be, should I defer my attempt or should I prepone? Now, if I'm giving January 27, I would say that we still have, if you look at November, you still have almost the entire April, May, June, July, August, September, October. You have approximately 6.5 to 7 months. 7 months we can say you have approximately, and trust me, this is a more than sufficient time frame for you to sit and give the exams. For a good 75 years, the institute students would have study leave for around 4 months. If they are lucky enough, maybe 4.5 months. You still have a relatively more time. Yes, it happened very fast for you. I would say that you are a little unfortunate in terms of, I mean, you can legitimately troll if you want, but what is there is there. Remember, your overall journey, I mean, you're just starting your professional journey now, will be kind of a game of adaptation and a game of adjustments. Well, the fact is in front of you. The faster and sooner you adjust, the better it is for you. And trust me, you still have enough time. Your timelines are a little compressed. Now, there would be a bunch of students, let us say, if I were to address, if you are just about to start your preparation, you said, oh, I have enough time, I will do everything, and you were about to start your preparations because you were thinking your exams are in January, yes, then probably you might think that I might go to May. However, if you are someone who has at least completed two big subjects, like for example FR and AFM, or let's say FR and DT, two big subjects of even lecture viewing, you still have enough time to kind of push over the next 2 months to complete all your pending lectures. So your immediate goal now should be to complete your pending lectures and then focus for the last 4 months for a very, very detailed revision. And trust me, IBS is kind of based on the other subjects, but if I look at 5 full subjects that you have, and even if you have 4 months to revise, that is leaving you with more than 20 to 25 days per subject to revise. And that is, if you ask any of your seniors, that is sufficient if you do it properly. So for the Jan 27 students, unless I have not started any of the subjects, in which case I might look at May, otherwise I would stick to November and I will try to press the pedal. If let us say I was thinking that maybe I will study, let us say X hours, I'm just thinking aloud, maybe I was thinking that I will study for example 8 hours. Now with the 2-month reduction in your time, what you need to do is you need to add on probably that approximately 15 to 20% time on a daily basis. So instead of 8 hours, probably try to put in around 9.5 hours. If you kind of think of it as 2 months, it is way too much of study time lost. But if you think as probably putting in 1.5 to 2 hours a day, more than what you were putting in, trust me, you are in a win-win situation. You have lesser time, but it is not that you don't have any time. If I were you, if I have started and even completed viewing lectures for around 2 big subjects, I would definitely go for November. I will not think a lot on probably going to May. Sir, I need more time. Well, if you need more time, why May? You can even go to November of 2027. So just buying more time is not going to get you a desired result. Trying to work the best in the time that you have is probably going to give you your best for the result. So don't kind of run behind more time. If possible, try to push in the time that you have. If I'm Jan 27, if I've completed 1.5 to 2 subjects of even lecture viewing, even if no revision, I would still go for November. Otherwise, I will go for May if I'm just about to start. Now, one of the biggest concerns that I hear in students now is the Income Tax Act, and it is a completely legitimate concern, I would say. However, that thing that earlier I was going to give September, if I don't clear I would give Jan, then the new Income Tax Act would come, that is kind of just putting yourself on a position that you are not going to clear September. Why are you even going to that tangent? If you now have time up to November, you can give your best and try to clear in November only. And if God forbid, okay, I'm just being realistic over here, if God forbid you are unable to clear in the November exams, well, that would have even happened in September or January, where you would have very less time to even prepare for the new Income Tax Act. Now you will have a lot more time, and trust me, you've reached CA finals. A new Income Tax Act is not going to completely throw you off the cards. You're not being supposed to study trigonometry and integral and calculus. You're going to study Income Tax Act, which you will manage. At least have that faith in yourself that you will be able to, if the need be, prepare for the Income Tax Act. But why are you even going to that? First, you have to give the November. You have to clear. Oh, if I don't clear, I will then study the Income Tax Act. Well, you have enough time to cover that up. trust me, you'll have enough time. So don't really go into that tangent. Focus on the goal in front of you rather than creating hypothetical loops in your mind. If you clear in November, none of this will happen. Okay, so that is for January 27. As we said, May 27 students are just enjoying on the sidelines. I mean, I know you're not enjoying, but you're just seeing what is happening to the other students. So for you, nothing changes. Go on with your regular plans. No changes needed. No deferral, postponement required. Now, if you are giving in September 27 and Jan 28, now I can understand some students might say, oh, that is very far away. They can manage. However, I can fully understand students over here. Even if you are giving September, well, again, you have 2 more months. For you, your exams were quite far away. Make the best of the 2 more months, as we told even for the September 26 students. Try to squeeze in a little more in terms of your revision, in terms of your mock test. Don't be complacent saying that you have 2 more months. Well, you have 2 more months to probably ace up your preparation a little more. And again, the January 28 students. Now, these are the students who would have probably planned their industrial trainings, who would have planned their preparations and probably decided to go into industrial trainings in such a way that probably their trainings might get over in somewhere around June, so that you have enough time. Now, again, in case you are one of those students, I would say that if it is possible, if you can speak to your companies where you are going to do, let's say, your industrial trainings or your articleship, on whether there can be an early joining, or whether, for example, you can kind of manage a slightly more leave as compared to what was there earlier. I understand it is a discussion that you will have to have, but well, it is something that was not predicted. So see if you can do that. Now, in terms of the students who are giving the Jan 28 exams, and let us say if you are thinking, I would say that you have enough time. You have enough time to kind of complete your preparations. Now, earlier when you were a lot more relaxed, now you just need to be a little more kind of, you need to push the pedal a little more as compared to your earlier thing. It is just that your study leave and your maybe industrial training ending or your articleship ending may need to be negotiated with your principals or your employers, and in my opinion, you might generally get a positive response, because this is something which is out of the blue even for you. So if you kind of talk properly, you should be able to get your desired result of a slightly more study leave. And if I were Jan 28, I would again try to effectively give it in November 27 only, rather than thinking of the May option. See how you can manage your articleship leaves, and see how you can complete viewing your lectures slightly earlier as compared to your plans. And at the cost of repetition, I'm telling you, for around 75 years, all the way from 1949 all the way up to 2024, all the exams were two times a year. Everyone, including when we gave the exams, had around 4 months of study leave with 8 subjects, and earlier a lot of other things as well. So I'm saying that it is not something which is unachievable, that oh, I will just have 4 months. No, I would love to have more than 4 months. I would love to have 5 months. I would love to have 6 months. However, you can have a compensatory mechanism. If you're losing out time in the end for no fault of yours, probably you can try to buy out some of the time, and it is easier said than done, I can understand, while you're doing your articleship, where you kind of push your preparation a little. So if I was again Jan 28, I would almost certainly go for the November 27 exams and not really look at May 28 as an option. If I May 28, again, nothing changes for me. And for September 27 and onwards, this is not 27, I'm sorry, September 28 and onwards, well, over here you have enough adjustment time, whether it is September 28 or Jan 28. You should be definitely aiming to give your exams in November of 28 only. And this is what I would say, that this is a food for thought that I would have. If I were you, this is what I would have thought, and this is what I would have done. Again, by no means should you always necessarily do like this, but you should have a definitive plan and a definitive timeline that, okay, within this time I will decide how do I change my plans in terms of whether I need more revisions or less revisions. If less, how much time do I manage? How do I manage the study leave? Keep some time. Do all your work. But once you decide, don't keep on fidgeting around and don't use your energy in kind of probably commenting negatively, or what is there. Okay, things could have been handled better, but as professionals we should also try to see that what we have, let's say we might have a challenging client assignment, how well we handle it also shows our professionalism. So I think that you should give yourself the best. Bless you all, good luck and take care.